It sounds like there's more of a culture of looking at private equity versus there is in traditional. And so for everyone here listening, traditional investments here in the United States are stock market, the bonds, certificates of deposit, CDs, money market account. Those are things that are going to be overseen by the SEC. Anything outside of that is considered alternative investment. In real estate here in the United States anyway, not sure what the tax treatment is overseas, but basically get paid 4 ways. The cash flow off the property, depreciation, so that helps you on your taxes, appreciation, the property can increase in value, and then also depending on how the debt structure, you can also be getting equity pay down. From your vantage point, you saw, okay, let's start then taking more risk, deploying things into private equity. What was your path to learn to underwrite or to vet operators?
How the level of trust that I have with this person. So they're either a really good friend of mine or a really good friend of a really good friend. Off the bat, path to decision making for us. The risk for their experience might be a different type of risk, but we ended up doing that. And so the first 2 investments we did were actually buying 2 single family homes in Ohio. And the idea was to rent them out, have a property manager. We did not see these properties, never visited them. I didn't really care about pictures or anything. All I wanted to know is that this is a person I trust. The numbers make sense. And we bought those 2 properties. At the same time, we also invested in a few syndications. That's the private equity real estate where you just put in cash and it's totally passive. And these single family homes, it was a shit show. They were just a lot of work, not generating the returns we were expecting. And at the same time, these syndications were we'd get clockwork. Every quarter we'd get distributions. They were overperforming. It was outperforming the single family homes. And we're like, why would you want to do this? We work so hard. Phone calls with property managers and tenants in the municipality. It's not performing as we expected. Taxes are hard. Let's just put more money into syndications as opposed to this stuff. And that just continued to grow. And we only managed to get rid of these single family homes 2 years ago.
This is the active versus passive investing. Active investing is where you directly own an asset and you have to then bring in the team, the managers, whatever. And remote active investing is really hard. And even active investing in your backyard can be hard because the question is how many phone calls are between you and the broken toilet, honestly, right? It's like that versus, the real private equity, the real passive investing is then investing in syndications where everybody pools their money together to buy a single asset, or there's also very efficient private equity funds. You get those same 4 benefits that I articulated before as an owner, but you are a limited partner. Your liability is only limited to the dollars that you put into that deal itself. You go through these exits, you get this wealth, and all of a sudden now I'm a high net worth individual. I want to now have a portfolio that's in traditional investments, but I want to start playing in alternatives. I think I heard you say the same thing where I want my traditional portfolio to be on automatic. I don't want to have to manage that because I want to spend the time managing my alternative investments. For me, that's where the cash flow is. That's where the greater reward is. That's where the greater tax benefits are. The reason I think many people don't do it, at least here in the United States, they either don't know about it or it's challenging.
I don't want to put more time in. I want to put more cash in. When it becomes too much time, that's why we built the current company. I think that the biggest hurdle that people find in private investing in general is finding people they can trust.
In any relationship, you have to put in time. I'm going through a vetting right now, and I've been watching this particular team operate for probably 14 months, watching them, getting their reports, jump on the phone, ask them what they're doing. Because, I'm going in cold to this group. They came in, they gave me the sales pitch, looked great. But if they're willing to answer my questions, take time, we get some meetings, and I'm watching how they operate, how transparent they are. That's what it takes sometimes, especially if you're thinking about deploying, hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money and maybe even other people's money too.
I think that over the years, 10 years were unbelievable and will not repeat. The normal is when interest rates come back to where they're supposed to be. Interest rates are not supposed to be 0%. They're supposed to be around 3, 4, 5%. A lot of operators that came out over the past 10 years will not survive this upcoming period because they're used to easy times. The way deals were vetted, the numbers people took into account, the loan to asset values were out of proportion. Refinances, which people think were supposed to happen, won't happen as planned. It's a lot harder to fundraise. People are still sitting on cash. The whole play that was around over the past 10 years is going to change. You also see a lot of operators now moving from a single deal model to a fund model. Various reasons, but it's a different type of fundraising and a different type of allocation. There's always going to be distress. There's always going to be people who need to sell. So there's still going to be opportunities, but I only think the best operators are going to survive this upcoming downturn.
What's been the worst money or investing advice you ever received?
People came and said, well, give us the money and we'll put it in a managed brokerage account and let's take some loans against that. So that was bad advice, to believe that the interest rates would stay low.